So if you can see,
Put the microphone right now.
okay, no, doesn't help to point with the mic. Anybody want to say something? So, good, yeah, this is much better, this will save my voice. So, all of that used to be Roads Crossing, right? Roads Crossing is the developer. The developer owns the land, he sells the parcels off after the plans are approved, and then somebody else builds it, right? So, KV Homes up in the right-hand corner, those were part of Roads Crossing. Those are built. You can drive by them and see them. Probably one for sale right now, who knows? The Arlo Lennar development, you've all seen, built homes and townhomes being leased, okay? Those exist. The Holland project, Holland apartment project that's currently under development, which if you haven't seen, you can drive by and see. That is not what we're talking about tonight. Just want to make sure we're talking about the right things. And then Merge 56, which is the development across from the Arlo Lennar development, will include about 500,000 square feet of R&D space, a hotel, and where do we go? So it's no longer, here's not doing.
They're doing the red.
Yeah, no, okay, go ahead, next one. So I'll just do my sign yes. Okay. It's the connection type, Jeff.
So I'll just kind of, this board is moving further along. Part of our community plan is going to include this piece right here, which is an apartment building. This board kind of illustrates like-kind in height buildings that are in proximity to this. For example, as Mary was saying, Merge 56, we sold that commercial triangle to Merge. They are basically built out. They agreed to, they asked as part of our contract for them to put the roadways through, they did it. This is the Holland, as she was saying. They changed our design, but they're basically building. It's probably another year and a half away from completion. And I'm sure you've seen it. It's, oh no, I'm sorry, that's the preservatory. This one's just now grading.
There you go.
So,
Okay, good.
yeah.
So they're just now grading out. And then this is the Holland project that we sold. They changed the design, but it's 342 units that are going in there. That was approved as part of the original Roads Crossing Vested tentative map back in 2004. So we are in for a community plan amendment for more density. Okay, so I wanted just to make some recommendations. Yes.
Fast question in relationship to this map that she was just pointing out to. Where are we located where we are right now? Could you just point that out?
I have quite a few exhibits. My suggestion, and I'll let you decide, is that we hold questions until later, or we're going to run ourselves out.
Exactly. So here's my, I want you to try to allow her to finish her presentation in its entirety. We've given you, and if you think you're going to have questions along the way, go up now and grab a piece of paper. Write your questions down as we go and pass them up. I'm asking that you raise your hand to speak. Try not to interrupt. Keep your comments succinct as possible. No yelling out opinions and distractions and boos or anything, or hoorays, whatever you want. But second, and then in order to let everybody's concerns be heard, listen carefully to the questions and comments, and let's try to not repeat. A lot of times it's just when everybody has the same concern. A lot of you have the same concern. So let's just request, and let's keep the questions to Roads Crossing, not to the surrounding development. I think that might be all I have for now. Okay. So, I'm going to turn it over to
actually amending. Under roads crossing, there are additional lots. You will see, for example, where it says lot 2 townhomes and lot 1 townhomes and lot 2 apartments. There is a triangulated gray area past the vernal pool complex. That we're not asking for any changes to. It's currently zoned for a gas and lube. It could also be housing under lower density. It's not a very big lot. It's oddly shaped. All we've done, and the reason it's part of our plan amendment, is we mildly adjusted the lot line to where that kind of runs along Camino del Sur. We just made a slight lot line adjustment. And that was the only reason it's included. Also, if you drop down.
Is it possible to point out?
Yes, it's with Keith.
So,
Does anyone have a laser pointer?
no, the library, do you have a
Yeah, I can use my mouse.
I do not.
Great example.
All right, so here we go. So, you'll see a tiny piece of a cul-de-sac here. Now, I noticed that on one of Mary's slides, or previous slide, it said that this is part of our plan, and it's not. It's also just a lot line adjustment. It's mapped as part of our 2004 CPA vested tentative map as 4 single-family homes, and we're not asking to change that. Just to give, somebody was asking about kind of how to get reference as to where we are. This is the Merge 56 project. Off the screen is the 56 freeway. Over here is the neighborhood of Via Panacea. Camino del Sur, this is all of the new extension of Camino del Sur. All of this green open space you see are lands that we agreed to protect. These in perpetuity. These will have conservations through the Army Corps of Engineers over them. There are vernal pool complexes. Alden Environmental is our environmentalist. He's done a beautiful job making those viable, because surrounded by development, that's not an easy task. And we've left this open. Originally, it was to be a wildlife corridor for critters to get over to the canyon. During the Merge 56 approvals and part of this roadway, somehow that was changed. Our original condition asked for kind of a culvert that ran under so that the critters could get safely across. Somehow that was allowed to be removed. Anyway, hopefully they make it. So I'm stalling, sorry. Does anybody have,
So the homes on the right-hand side, they're stacked right here, that's off of the cliffs.
That's correct.
And then if you go up to where the red number 1 is,
Okay.
you continue to the right, that leads and intersects with the Art Village.
Yes.
That gives you more.
Yep, that gives anyone perspective.
Oh, I see.
To
Could you point out where the gas station?
North is to the left.
Gas station.
North is
Where
this
on the map?
direction.
Gas station.
I'll point it out. North is this side on the left. This will be the gas and lube, potentially. It's what it's approved for. South. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and move on. All right. So, I'll wait till everyone settles down just a little bit.
Okay, everyone, listen.
This first box here talks about the 2004 roads crossing vested tentative map. We got all our approvals. Part of those approvals included a site development permit for the gas and lube and a county development permit. These were the zones. This was kind of the history of the zones. Back in the day, it was zoned as AR1-1, which is basically an agricultural, kind of a rural. There is some residential that's allowed, but not much. And during our 2004 vested tentative map approvals, we went from that to RS1-3, which is residential single-family homes with a max density of 1 per 15,000 square feet of lot. And respectively RS1-14, which is, again, residential single-family with 1 lot per 5,000 square feet, 1 house per 5,000 square feet of lot.
here's what we're asking for, here's what we're into the city for. And before I go on, I'm just gonna say that we are early in this stage. We are on the bottom rung of the process. So, but I have slides that will speak to that, so you kind of get a feel of where we are. So as part of this amendment, we're asking to rezone for higher density. We're going to be adding 459 units of housing, multifamily. Some are townhomes, some are apartments, and there's an affordable component that goes along with this. Total housing units on Rhodes Crossing will be 511 on the lots that we're asking to amend. So I see that Mr. Rhodes has made it safely, and obviously he wants to take over from there.
Before you leave this slide, would you just give them what the approved density is right now, based on what you got your rezone for back in 2004? How many single family homes and how many apartments are currently approved?
So on our vested tentative map, let me go back a slide.
So I think that's helpful for people to understand what's approved versus what you're proposing.
Okay, on our current vested map, where these lot 4 townhomes are, and I'm gonna mention right now that the city asked us to renumber. So you may go on the city website and see older versions of Rhodes Crossing that have different numbering. For example, this one used to be lot 14. Well, it's now lot 4. So just to add a little more confusion. It was go ahead, Keith.
Gina, I don't quite understand what you're asking this.
I'm just trying, people want to know what's currently allowed per your entitlements that are in place today. So I'm just saying, let them see what is currently permitted, and then you're now asking for an amendment to change the zone, to change the plan development permit, and then tell them what it is that you're proposing. She's told you what you're proposing, but we don't have a reference point of what's currently approved on the land right now.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so where it says lot 4 townhomes, on our vested tentative map, our 2004 approvals, this was 14 single-family homes. We're asking to amend it to townhomes, 94 townhomes. Up here, where it says lot 1 townhomes, all of this, where it says lot 2 apartments and lot 1 townhomes, this was all one housing development. It was all large lots, single-family homes, about 36 of them. We lost a couple to vernal pool issues, but about 36. So we are asking for 287 apartments here and 83 townhomes here. Per the city, it was not us, sustainable, because they couldn't afford, there was no, they couldn't take any more city parks, there's no money for any more city parks. So, this is where our affordable housing would go.
But that wasn't the case, because at the time in 2004, when you received the approvals, it was always a passive open space park, and it says it in your resolution to be maintained by the property owner, because it's not a population-based park. So it never was planned to be a city park, but it was to be a passive open space park.
And what kind of insurance became very difficult to insure that property, when if it was a private park, that would be one thing. But now, they didn't want for me to, or whoever the insurance company would take on the liability of everybody that was coming into that park. And it's not gonna happen, we're not gonna take that liability. And Jeanette.
Yeah, I'd like, Ann to be able to continue.
One comment here that I'd like to make, Jeanette, that when the homes were built, most of you, I guess, are from Via Panacea? How many are from Via Panacea?
Peñasquitos?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, Peñasquitos.
Yeah.
But the closest development to this is Via Panacea, directly to the east there.
Center Panacea. How many of you are from the Park Village area?
That's the question.
Well, let's finish this. How many from Torrey Highlands?
Torrey Highlands.
Torrey Highlands. How many from across, Carmel Mountain Road, north of 56?
Okay, Jeanette, I'd like you to understand right here, right here, when the homes were sold up here, this was all commercial in the community plan. It would have got a strip mall along here with the trucks coming to a road behind here during this service. So the community plan has changed. This was commercial at one
Where the
time.
gas station was.
No, the gas station's right here. I'm talking about in the community plan, Peñasquitos, this whole area was commercial at one time. Before,
Your 2004 approval.
Which got the story.
No.
yeah, we came up with, we
Are you sure
actually,
you're not thinking of Merge 56 parcel?
no. This was the commercial area.
Okay.
And it was, all of the, these went back up onto those homes. I went out and tried to talk to people and tell them that that was what was coming. This was before Torrey Highlands was approved. When Torrey Highlands was approved, then the commercial, I wanted it all to be commercial, but then this was changed, this became commercial, and this, I actually had two, 5-story, 4-story, I guess, wrapped products here and here. That was and this is when the city came along and said, we need density, and asked me to put it on. Where's Court, is here tonight?
So that zero property is now how many units? Which one? The senior?
That's 30.
We're required to do 31 affordable. We have it mapped at 47 right now.
47, okay, because we're talking about all the different lots, what they went from and to. And we've done that one and that one and that one. What was, yes.
When,
That's
well, our Park and Rec guy, Bill. Bill.
You know, it
Before
doesn't, sir, it doesn't matter if it's commercial or for living area, for public area, for people to buy condos in townhomes or wherever you want to build. We don't want the impact on the environment and the area, and we don't want the traffic and pollution.
I understand what you're saying. I was just pointing out that community plans change, and this area up here, this area here was at one time in the community plan as commercial. So when we talk about, gee, it's single family home, it was commercial one time. At one time, in my plan, the 2004 plan, I changed it to put two 4-story wrap projects.
Sir, can we focus on what you have now?
So what you're saying is it could have been worse.
Right, but that doesn't matter.
I think
Exactly.
structure to you.
Distraction.
I will explain the differences. I can show you.
I'd like to know why we're doing this now. I don't care about the history. Today,
Yes.
you're changing something to something, and the question is why? That's
Exactly.
it, simple question. Why?
We will oppose it. What I'm changing it from 50 to 511 according to what they have said.
Why? I will ask you over there. You can answer me whatever. Why?
We'll answer that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's let her finish. Let's give her, she came prepared to show you what's being amended. So I'd like her to finish.
This
get on it. Do you have specific data to show? Keith, would you like me to continue? All right, so we kind of covered this. So we're adding 459 units for a total of 511. I'll take questions after if that's okay.
Please finish.
This was
Is this in addition to, so are you still going to have this in
from
addition?
this 2004 vested tentative map approval that's current today. We will be increasing from this by 459 for a total count of 511.
We're gonna save questions, if you'd like to write your questions down and send them up. If not, please try to save it for one.
Now, we are only on our second round of city comments. What that means is when we submit a project, the city reviews it, it goes through many desks, and I have a slide that shows you how many desks, it's 18 in total, different factions of the city that have to review this project. We just 2 days ago received second round comments from the city back. So it is early days. So what the purpose of this meeting was to get your concerns and questions now, because we're early days on this. Okay, so that's what the paper's for. We're gonna do QR code. The road crossing is being processed under a process by. It's absolutely the highest and most stringent process that the city needs to go through. So it's not going to be like other projects where the city has green lighted it under a ministerial permit. This is completely discretionary, and it's going to be onerous on us. So the CPA process is to go from what we talked about before, where the apartments are. The zone that we requested is RM 4-10. What that means is it's residential, multifamily, it's a high density zone. It's 1 unit per 400 square feet of lot, and we've designed it for 287 multifamily doors there. The townhome product and the affordable apartments, we're asking to be zoned at RM 1-3. It's a medium density, also residential, multifamily, medium density, and specified 1 unit per 2,000 there. So you see the change in density. We'll go to the next slide.
You have slides later so that you can look up the zones, so we can show you where they are, so you can do that on your own.
If you were to go onto the city website and you were to ask the city to tell you the process for permits, these are the different processes. So you have 1 being the least onerous, all the way to 5, which is the most onerous. You'll notice that process 5 requires both a planning commission recommendation hearing. They make their recommendation to the city council, and then the city council also has to approve. So it doesn't go to one of the two, it goes to both. So many opportunities to weigh in, sir. If you'll write your question, I'll get you. Next slide. I don't know why it's creeping up like that. So here are the different desks that our project must go before. These desks are allowed to review everything, make comments back, and it can go through many rounds. As I said, we just received round 2 back. So we're 2 minutes into this. These green check marks means that let me slide over here, on this resubmittal, so this came back from our planner, all of these desks are asking us to answer something important. They may be asking for redesigns, they may be asking for a lot of things. We just got the comments, so it's about 89 pages, have not gone through it yet. But we will before the next meeting. These departments have signed off on our plans. Facility financing, that's who collects the fees to put in all the infrastructure. Fires looked at it, one desk has looked at it, it'll have to go to the fire department, on housing commissions looked at it. Pending, we're still pending comments from Sandbag and from Miramar, obviously we're close to the base, so they're gonna weigh in, but this is how many desks our project will go for. If you were interested, I said in the beginning that we are asking for a plan development permit as part of this process. If you are interested in understanding what that is, you can log on to the city website in the municipal code, and you'll find that in the chapter 14 codes under plan development permit. Obviously, we don't have enough time to say exactly what it is, but it allows for certain deviations and things. So, I'll provide a copy of this to Mary, so if anyone wants to remember what the code is, meeting code, you can have it. I don't know if this is theirs or something. My screen's up and theirs is open. All right. So, also on the city website, as I said, this is a discretionary process, which means that no one desk gets to say, yes, this project is approved. It has to go through all of the different factions. Obviously, I don't expect you to be able to read this. I've highlighted the fact that we will be held to a CEQA and EIR update review, which means that we're gonna have to supply all kinds of studies for traffic and biology, and environmental, and all of the things that go with issues that affect a community when a new development comes forward. And we will have to get consultants and professionals to do reports and studies. It's very time consuming. This process alone is probably a 6 to 8 month process. Now this will be circulated, and each and every one of you, and anybody you want to round up, will have the opportunity to comment to the city. And the city has to read your comments and basically answer back. We give documents. I've seen the EIR documents, they're absolutely huge because of all the required responses. So you will have plenty of opportunities to weigh in on this project. So, you know, that's good.
And we will have additional community meetings. They agreed to come today, and there's a lot of information they don't have. They don't have, like you said, EIR.
Studies are still to be done.
So rest assured, this is not the last time that you will see this and you'll be able to comment.
This is just to help you understand what we're asking for and what the process is that we are falling under. Now this was provided to me by our planning consultant. It basically illustrates steps in an EIR process. Where it's green, this is where we are. So we need to climb all the way up to get to certification, and that's if it's approved. So, you know, they can come back and say, no, absolutely not, this doesn't work for traffic, this doesn't work for that, blah, blah, blah. So this is an opportunity for them to take an in-depth look, not just take a report that we filed, but to actually have studies done and have those submitted. And the city will let us know what studies they want us to provide. We don't even know that yet. And there's a board, if anyone wants to take a picture of it, behind this, next to over here, there's a board to that effect. This is just another slide that our consultant provided me that shows the EIR process, what the purpose is, what the public notice requirements are, and comment opportunities for you to make public comment. So you'll see that you have, in every step of the way, you have an opportunity to comment. So. Okay, so this is just, I'm not going to read through this. This is another opportunity to go onto the city website, into the municipal code again, and understand what these zones are and how they're defined and what the parameters are. So you'll see that the municipal code in this is chapter 13. It is it can be hard to navigate, but you wanna skip through everything skip over anything that doesn't start with an RM, because that's residential, multifamily, and that's what we're asking for. So go straight to that. The numbers I provided, like when you look up the code, it'll show you here. I wish they would make this more user-friendly, but here's the RM, and then and we're 1-3, here's the 1, here's the 3. So, if you need help, I can try to help her. Mary can, I'll tell her that she can help. But a P means permitted, so, but all of this is on the city website, municipal code, chapter 13. All right, now we need to set all the pieces of the actual map. All right, so this is a rendering. Yes, quickly.
Can you tell us again who you are and who you're?
Oh, I'm sorry, my name is Pam Blackwell, and I am a representative of Rose Crossing. You're welcome. I also sit on the planning board, but obviously I have to recuse on any votes or matter of decision making because I have a vested interest. Let me move forward. Okay, this is an example, and it's just a rendering. It's an initial rendering. It's not locked in. Of the Lot 1 townhomes. Those are the ones that flank the Via Panacea neighborhood. This is the basic layout. It's interesting here because we had verticals that we did not want to disturb. So we did kind of a creative little design there. This is just an example of what it could potentially look like. Obviously, we'll take the community's insight on that. 83 townhomes, 2-car tuck-under garages. Designed so far at 2 to 3 bedrooms. Approximately 1,150 to 1,250 square feet. And as it was mentioned before, we're a developer, which means that we're getting the entitlements. Somebody could come along that wants to actually build it and say, you know, I'd like larger homes with more square footage and fewer doors. That's highly, you know, that could happen. There are going to be 2 points of ingress and egress from this, and I'll direct you over here. I know that there's concern in the Via Panacea neighborhood off of the Senda Panacea cul-de-sac that will become an entrance into our development. It will not. That's for emergency vehicle use only. So in the event of an emergency, I imagine they'll come in and they'll put those drop-down pylons or whatever, and they'll have access to it. Beyond that, we have ingress and egress here off of Carmel Mountain Road, which is now constructed. And we have a second point of ingress and egress that we've designed down the slope here onto Camino del Sur. This will be signalized. We fought for a signal, and it will be directly across from the Highlands project, which is Parkinson. This development right here.
Don't look if I'm pointing away.
I'm sorry?
That's the hall.
No, it's 342 apartments. Currently under construction. The zone is, and we talked about that already. Next slide. Is there something interfering, because my stuff is not changing now? So I don't know what's going on over there, but it's not,
There.
changed. Okay. All right, so this is the other townhome product, and this is located here. This is all open MHPA land, which is protected, it's city protected land. Nothing will be built there. Same type of development, 94 townhomes, 5 different building designs to add variety. There will be a signal.
How can I turn this? So I think it's easier to get oriented this way. This makes sense. 56 is there, this comes down, Park Village Elementary, Park Village.
So.
Top is north.
Yes, top is north. 40
one more thing to get oriented. When you're coming up, there's Park Village down here, Park Village Elementary, the new roundabout.
Right.
You come up the hill, you'll see there's that big construction project going on right now on the left. That's the Holland apartment building that's coming in there. You continue up, this is not graded or anything, this is just,
It's mass graded.
it's mass graded now, it's flat pad. Then this is Carmel Mountain Road, the new Carmel Mountain Road that extends over, it has its own new bridge crossing. If you continue up here, this is the Merge 56 project that's gonna be biotech, a hotel, and some commercial. Just above that.
Those
is
are
where the
all
gas
very
station-
well.
Where this is the gas station is, no, stop, that's just to the north of
There's
this
also
one.
residential up there.
I have a question.
A lot of
Can I ask a
residential.
question now? I'm sorry, can I ask a question now?
No,
I have just a few more slides. I'll wait till it's just a little more, so that's I won't spend any more time here because it's square footage and
The background noise really carries us here. The acoustics are great in here, but it still is,
when it changes, you're gonna see an example of how we've laid out for the affordable units. Our requirement is 31, we've designed for 47 because it's all in negotiations. We have not met with any of the affordable housing builders, so it's a big question mark over that. But this is kind of our initial stab at it. I've had one comment that they don't like that modern design. That's considered to be made part of the comments and considered to change the kind of the look, the facade of that building.
What is the affordable price for seniors?
I'm sorry?
What is the affordable price for seniors? What is the price?
Oh, that,
We don't know that yet. We'll have to meet, that'll be part of.
we won't know that until the buyer buys and builds. That's when that will come. That is way after we're approved and it's sold and the builder comes in.
Yeah, and that's the issue because they always say affordable housing, like they see in Rancho and going to Costco area, Peñasquitos area, Boulevard, the old one. Affordable housing, no, it wasn't affordable. It was almost $1 million, 800,000 to $1 million.
Well, then that was somebody using a tag word to call it affordable. It wasn't affordable falling under all of the very strict regulations that dictate what affordable is.
Right,
And
this is
senior, so it'll even have further layers. of-
right. Nobody buys these. These would be apartments for people, and there's a set price in each area.
Okay,
At the government.
percentage.
We need to move on. We need to
This
move on.
is an example, and it's only an example.
Yeah.
It's only an example of what the entrance might look like to the apartment building. There's kind of a circle entrance, parking structures on this side. It's tall enough.
What we're trying to do with this is show that this is not, a lot of what you see, the taller buildings, which have you shown those already? That
We're going now.
Okay. We have a lot of articulation in the building. It's not a flat front at all. There's a lot of front and back, so it gives it a more appealing look than if it was a rectangle, smooth on every side, which some of the taller buildings in this area are.
Okay, please.
Surrounded by a lot of green space.
Okay, let's please try to keep the talking down. I understand we all have some things, but just give her a few more minutes.
Just about to go back. I think this is the last slide, or maybe there's one more. Okay, this is.
Before you leave that slide, just to help stay on right here. So that elevation here is this view right here. As you're driving up you're driving up Camino del Sur.
No, that's the backside.
Is that the backside?
That's
No,
the
that's-
that's the backside. Now, this is driving up the hill.
This is our new entrance off Camino del Sur where his laser is.
On the left is driving up the hill. On the right is if you were driving by.
Senior. No.
Yes. Yes. Yep, right here. If you're going this way, that's that view here, is that, this view is the view from Camino del Sur. Because that's your vertical area, that's not the backside next to the vehicle.
No, you're right.
That's this view.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this, coming up the hill.
Keith.
If you're coming up the hill, imagine yourself driving. It's a very different experience. When you drive by this, you're going to be driving. This is going to be up there. This is going to be up there, not here at eye level.
Right. Still brings it all
So it brings it to about
in that
12
area.
I won't spend much time on this slide because it is part of the board that is up here. It gives you a perspective. So we realize that our apartment building is tall. It is not alone in that. As you look around, kind of a semicircle is created with.
You need my pointer back.
That's your 56, version 56.
Now, I just wanted to point out there are a lot of tall buildings.
Use your microphone.
I'm sorry. I really can project without one, but I will use it so I don't talk too loud. Okay. There's a lot of tall buildings right in the area. So this is Rancho 56. They have a 6-story hotel, 5-story offices, 5-story residential. This is what's called the Preserve, which is an office. It's 5 stories, it says 4, but this building right now, we're trying to get the true height of that building. That's their parking structure. Down here is the Highlands project. It's actually called Camino del Sur Apartments. And you can see it right here. It's 4- and 5-story residential. So this is not an area where small buildings aren't being built all around. I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Let's let her finish.
All right, so that actually is our slideshow. Mary, I'm going to let you determine.
I think the point should be made that these apartments are at the highest point of elevation in your entire road crossing.
With homes around them.
But that's single family around this, exactly, my.
Well, bring that blood. Okay. I hear you.
We like that.
Okay. So,
What's that?
You got $5 million, go build a house.
But that was always promised.
Okay, just a moment.
I can't pick one person out and put their
Keith, I'm gonna, speak for what I'm hearing them talk about right now. And one of the biggest concerns is the height of those buildings. Yes, there are some buildings that are high nearby, but the height of those buildings next to the single-family homes, it is a 6-story with rooftop amenities, essentially a 7-story building that starts at 2 stories, same grade, 2 stories high, at the same grade as a single-family home. So it's essentially 9 stories above the single-family homes that exist. So you're right, there are, and let's not talk about how many stories. I should have not even brought that up. But yes, there are tall buildings, but the concern is the height of those buildings next to the existing family homes. homes. So that is the concern. So, one. Then the other.
How many thousands of people are going to move into this area? It just looks really big, I mean, now that I see the proportions and the height, I mean, we're having thousands of people living there?
Well, in addition to what's already here, this is 511 units, yes.
How many people?
I don't know what the number of people is per, times 3, times, how many people per, I don't have that number.
Well, that's
So,
our concern is because
The average is
hang on. I can't hear anyone's question, everyone is talking.
One at a time.
So I wanted to summarize some of the concerns and kind of do them in order, if that's okay. Just a minute.
If I may have some point of information,
Yes.
just a fast question, I was wondering if there's anyone in this room currently representing city council members that are affecting this area or any other adjacent. Anybody?
No, I don't see any council reps here, although they were invited, I believe.
The city council member is not here tonight. We are meeting with them on Thursday to debrief from this meeting, to provide a copy of this presentation. We are in communication with them. The planning board, the planning board has submitted comments to the to the city planning group. On behalf of the community, we will collect some of your comments, and in the next round, we will provide those comments as well. And here, okay, let's see. Hang on, I just want to present a couple things. So, the one thing that has not been discussed in detail tonight that I want, okay, I want to talk just a little bit about zoning, so that you are aware. One of our main comments to the city was in response to the zoning plan amendment change. And I'm not sure that that was completely clear in the presentation that Pam just put together. And I want you to know that this is one of the planning board's big concern on behalf of the community. So if you look at the zoning, RS 1-14 is single family homes with a 35 foot height limit and 9 individual dwelling units per acre. That's what DUA means. RM 3-9 is multifamily with a 60 foot height limit, 73 dwelling units per acre. RM 4-10 is multifamily with no height limit and 109 dwelling units per acre. Why do we care? Because RM 3-9 is the current zoning for the Holland apartment that's under construction. That lot was zoned for RM 3-9, and when we saw that the planning board saw the plan, that plan was approved as a 3 to 4 story building. The builder bought that lot, modified the plan, added another story, and it's now a 5 story building. But he was able to do that because the zoning was approved as RM 3-9. I'm using that as an example because what Rhodes has requested in his amendment is for these lots to be designated RM 4-10. And the big message that we sent to the city.
One of the lots, point of clarification.
Yeah, point of clarification. I'll show you the zoning request map. Right now, this is the existing approved zoning for this area. There's down here in the left-hand corner, so you get back to the pointer, the left-hand corner, lot 7. Can you see lot 7 is down left-hand corner? That's currently zoned as RS 1-14, single family, 35-foot height limit. RM 3-9 is what I mentioned, is what the Holland project is currently under construction. The other existing lots, 1 and 2, that's the approved plan right now, is for single family homes, RS 1-14. Across the way, what's shown as lot 4 on this picture is RS 1-14, single family, 35-foot limit. Lot 6, RS 1-14. Okay, let me show you what the new zoning map is. This is what has been requested. RM 4-10 in all of those areas. So I want you to know, yes.
Sorry, that is not accurate.
That's not accurate.
That's what the zone application says. Tell me what's not accurate.
Okay.
So the only lot, first of all, the map is not drawn correctly. So
That's the one that was with your proposal. I took it directly out of the city guidelines.
Ladies and gentlemen, let
So
us
let's
explain this, because there is, this map is not what we're asking for. Just so let me explain it.
Sure.
We are doing I'll call 3. So you got on the top, on the left-hand side. Do I have it in my pocket? Well, you're so smart. This area right here, these are going to be townhomes, and we do not want that zone. We do not need that density there. This is when this was going to be one area, but now it's being divided, and there will be townhomes here. This is the only area that we are upzoning, and one of the issues is the concern that if that zone was on it, 50 years from now, I don't know what we're thinking, but somebody could come along and say, we want to build and put twice the density there. We don't want that, and we're working with the city to have a zone.
So hang on. Let's make a correction. Hang on.
Excuse me, if you're gonna laugh every time I say it, I'm gonna cry every time you say something.
Okay. So
what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is we do not want a zone on that would less twice the density.
Okay, what is the zone you're requesting then?
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm seeing. You're saying that you've divided that top right
Mary,
one?
right here, okay? Where this apartment building is shown, you can laser it up or make it see it. Right here, that is the only area where we requested RM.
Or
Okay, and the
And-
other areas,
RM
3-9.
3-9, RM 3-9, RM 3-9.
Those are townhomes.
Yes, but.
Now, the city brought, we never intended to put a zone on it that would allow twice the density. We are working, our consultants are working, we're working with the city, we're gonna do a plan development permit, and we will not have a zone on there that allows more than what we put on there now. So no one will be coming back in the future and be able to put more density.
Okay, so I can tell you, Keith, that our request to the city is to not allow that zoning on that property at all. That's the request.
Yeah, but we are working, that zoning will not be on, we assume.
No, on the one even where you have the apartment building, we feel that that unlimited height requirement is not an acceptable zoning for our community.
All I'm saying, Mary, is that this project will not be approved with a zone that will allow the density that you're talking
The
about.
unlimited, well.
We don't want
Okay,
to
don't
do it.
then don't put it on, so we have to.
Look, I'm,
Yes, okay, so.
if you don't know, this is my project.
I've been asking for
If you don't know, I am Keith Rhodes, this is my project. I am telling you, and you can hold me to this all the way through, there will not be approved on here.
And what does the application say? I don't care, talk is cheap. I wanna know exactly what the application requested. Did you request A114?
4-.
Or, yes, that's the issue.
No,
Talk is cheap.
excuse me, I'm gonna talk, you're gonna talk. Go ahead and talk, and I won't tell you what's going on.
It doesn't matter what
Where is it you?
it'll just be changed in the future, just like.
No, you wanna hear him instead of what's going to go on.
Okay, so,
Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you that we are not gonna end up with that zone on that property.
Good.
When we went in, it was put on there. We never had the intention of putting anything more than we're putting on it. We talked to the city, they called us right away, Development Services, Planning, and we spoke to them, we said, absolutely, we do not have it. So, there will be a cap on this property that no project can come in and build more than what we're proposing.
Modify your
Okay.
application.
all right.
Put it in the application, that's right.
Okay, hang on just a minute. So I would like to, and I apologize for any misspeaking, but,
It's not your fault, Mary. We're at the
correct.
very beginning of this
Yes.
process.
Yes.
We might have 5 rounds with the city. We just got back their comments on the second round. We have to answer those.
okay.
So, understand, this will flesh out, so make your concerns known. But don't take the first thing that's in there as what's gonna happen. It's great that you're asking questions. It's great that you understand what this zoning would do. I'm telling you that's not what I'm asking for in the end.
All right, when are you going to modify your application to downgrade it from the RM14?
4-10.
4-10 to 39.
We're looking to do that. It may take another round, but the city has definitely brought this up to us. And we were stunned because all we're asking for is this. But they came back and said, well, that zone allows this. And we said, that's not what we're asking for. The city is not gonna go for that. We are not asking for that in the end.
Okay.
So
thank you, and so let's stop the zoning discussion for a minute. And hang on, sir, just a minute. I'll call on you in a moment. What I can say is that we're following this issue, and we're gonna find out what he submits and ensure that is what happens in the next round, that we don't end up with an unlimited zoning, because a builder can come in and do something else if it's not defined properly within the plan, and we want to prevent that from happening. Now, I want to just acknowledge and give all of you a chance to kind of raise your hand or talk. I want to talk through these kind of 3 areas. I just think this might help us, and then we can open it up and see if there's anything else. We put this the 92129 News put this survey out there. They provided the information to us to present at the meeting. We didn't have a mechanism to collect it, so this other group collected it. 166 people responded to the survey and registered. If you haven't done that, please register so we can send you additional information on the project. 140 people included questions and comments. 66% of the people were concerned about community well-being, 41% about environmental, 65% about infrastructure and traffic. I'm going to talk about each one of those, and let's address your concerns in these areas if we can. Try to do that for a minute. The purpose of this meeting is to collect your additional comments and for you to hear from the developer. This was voluntary on their part. They didn't have to come. So I just wanted to say that let's continue to have a really good dialogue here, so that we can collaborate with them and come up with some kind of compromises. We hope. That's the goal for all of us here. So, community well-being. We've already talked about the large apartments directly near the single-family homes. And the concern for obstructing the sun, privacy, noise. People are concerned to have solar panels. The bulk and scale of this project, and even the character of the project that's been shown isn't necessarily in tune with what was proposed in the community plan and with the neighborhood. It's going to be visible from all over PQ. That especially that large. You all said there's not enough outdoor space for the amount of people in the area. You said there's an extreme concentration of density in a small area. All of these other projects in the surrounding area. And there's concern over the spillover parking to the surrounding neighborhoods. So, any other well-being concerns?
I'd like
Just a minute.
I'd like to add crime. I'm not sure if that can be quantified, but we've had a lot of crime.
Crime increase.
Crime increase. We've had break-ins in daylight hours, even early evening and other hours.
Okay.
Since everything happened.
Okay.
And along with your, like the solar, I do think that our neighborhood relies on the winds from the ocean to cool our homes down, so we don't need to have our electricity on. We don't have solar, so we would be having to have.
You would be blocked.
And I've also noticed a preponderance of garbage on the streets now without any additional garbage cans, which I think the developers should pay for and maintain.
Okay, that's a good one. Is there somebody in my group that
This is what I'm hearing. Between your 511 unit project and Highlands 422 unit project, that means that we could have as many as 2 drivers in each of these units and cars, bringing the total number of cars on Camino del Sur to 1,800 a day.
Yeah. Easy, just from, yeah.
Are you planning to widen Camino del Sur to accommodate this traffic?
So let me just pause and say, yeah, I'm just gonna pause and say, they have a traffic study that's come back, and we all are concerned about traffic. I'd like to actually save the traffic for another that's coming. Okay, community well-being concerns. Any other community well-being concerns?
First, are they going to build another elementary school?
No.
Because additional 500 units means additional at least 500 kids. And our school, which my kids go there, already have 200 kids for the after-school program.
Okay, so let me address schools. Let me answer that question. Okay, the project cannot be denied on schools, and the schools will adjust to the number of students. Park Village used to be, when my kids went to Park Village, there were 1,200 students there. So it will adjust. So I know it's a concern, but
so when a development comes forward, part of what is required is to pay school fees. So what happens is they're called CFD fees, and they go directly to build new schools if it's warranted. So the school district, in fact, I've already got an email from the Poway School District asking what our increased numbers are so that they can look, and they're going to be very involved in the whole process. So please rest assured that schools are a part of these approvals, and fees will be paid to go into new schools.
All right. The second question that I have is the evacuation if there is fire. We live next to the canyon. From 30 years ago when they were planning to make the 56, and it couldn't be wide enough because of the environment. If there is fire in Park Village area, we are the people that are going to be stuck there before all of those people from those 7-story buildings leave. So this is very concerning because we know already they
so traffic and fire evacuation, I agree, that's a concern. In the hat.
Right across the canyon. Maui and anyone who lives here, how quickly overnight the fire went.
Okay. Can you still hear me? Is that gonna work?
go ahead.
I am a teacher at Poly Unified for over 25 years. The classes cannot handle any more students. You build, you have to build a school before the houses.
I completely agree with the previous speaker. My main concern is the education system. We do pay extra taxes to Highway because they tax on the additional fees where we live, but that never built another school, even though they need the school already. So this will exacerbate the problem. I also wanted to just piggyback off the other gentleman's question. Is there a representative from Highway Schools here this evening?
No.
That's kind of concerning. It kind of illuminates the issue.
I'm here.
Oh, right.
My name is Darshana Patel. I am current board president of the Highway Unified School District. I can tell you, we will find a way to house every single child. CFT1 has expired, so we are not collecting any more CFTs. That built Park Village Elementary, built Mesa Verde as well. So our schools that are existing actually have an extreme amount of facilities maintenance needs.
You have just told me in this presentation that you have changed the area to no longer be an agricultural district. I'm not understanding.
I'm not sure about that.
It is an agricultural district. Highway Unified School District is considered an agricultural school district. I know, and the funding is national.
Okay, thank you. Okay, school funding, let's move on.
Save the sidebar, maybe we can.
I live about a block and a half east of Rancho Penasquitos. I think some of the single-family homes there. We found the hard way a few years ago that we have solar cells on our roof. You mentioned them in the brochure up here. My neighbor had planted some palm trees which grew very high, and we found out that it is illegal for him to put up any sort of structure or tree or anything else that blocks the sun from a neighboring house. I'm a little concerned about that with the 7th floor or whatever it is today, apartment building being next to Rancho Penasquitos. Has the law forbidding that been changed any time in the last 10 years?
No. Do you have the law number?
I do not, sorry.
We talked about it at the last meeting.
We talked about it at the last meeting as well. Yeah, it's in the back, we're in the back.
Yeah, come back.
Okay, so I don't want to miss something that might be of value, but on the community awareness, I also think we have a public health issue here because we've talked about the density, and if you look at all the new things, there's really not green space, and for us that live over by San Panacea, you will see everyone that comes over there that has a dog, that comes to our neighborhood, and that's the new dog park.
So
and I think there's a public health issue going on in our neighborhood.
And that's the school
And that will
parking
still
and-
happen for
and-
those with
yeah.
the, even with the emergency exit,
Right.
because will be a walkthrough.
Right.
No.
Emergency exit won't be a walkthrough.
There will be.
Yes.
No, it's going to, what we are proposing, because a community came to us many years ago when we brought this up.
We are the dog park.
You may be the dog park, and I'm very, very sorry for that. But I blame the people who don't take care of their dogs. They should be. Now, as far as people, they will not walk through. That connection we showed you, we are proposing that is not a pedestrian. It'll be a gate for the fire department.
It doesn't matter, and there's no.
How does it not matter?
Because people will walk right there.
It's not, I'm saying.
Okay, so
People cannot walk through.
So Keith, we're gonna really look hard at that, because I agree with all of you that's come up from there. A lot of people is a proximity of that many people near the current residential, and their access and their movement in and out of that community is a concern, and we need to look at that pass-through and ensure that that doesn't happen. But it is a legitimate concern in my opinion. Hang on.
Is there thoughts with the council, with city council?
Okay,
When is that?
the city council, so this process is long. City council will be a year and a half from now, I mean, long.
It'll go to commission, it'll go to planning commission first. I would say we're 12 to 14 months from that, and that depends on how many studies are required as part of our sequel process. And so it will go to city council sometime after that. You'll have plenty of notice through the sequel process before it ever gets close to either going to city commission, planning commission, or city council.
And if you stay,
I think 18 months.
Is a good guess.
I can't see it be less than 18.
So what are our steps between now and then, just to address that? That we will have another meeting. Once they have their traffic and environmental, they will come with their experts to a meeting. We're going to try to find something bigger than this. If anybody has any great ideas for where we can hold the meeting, let me know. Please come and tell me. That we will, because I think the numbers will continue to grow.
I just like, Mary,
yes.
sorry, just to go along, we've spoken about the dogs, which is a huge thing.
Okay.
I love kids, and we need places for the children to play, a playground. At soccer fields, we have down at our village, they play soccer there. It's full Sundays. Adults like to play soccer. There's parties there. It's already overflowing. With this amount of people, we love to be outdoors in San Diego. There's just not the space. And my concern is that our beautiful park is going to be, people from outside are going to come in, and we won't even have a place to spend time with our children and grandchildren. That's a
No, okay, so I agree. Park concern and the concern that's been raised is the elimination of that 3.5 acre park. That would be a space, and eliminating that as a problem as well.
I'd like to know, so I've been involved in this for about 25 years. I'm a resident here, and I've seen Mr. Rhodes come here every few years, and he's talking about these amendments, and why aren't we just building what's been approved for 20 years? The 2004 amendment, it was amended, why didn't you just build that?
That's it. I'm going to let him respond. Why have you submitted an amendment over the 2004 approval time?
If you looked at the overall picture of this, you'll see more green than you'll see in any neighborhood anywhere.
Can you answer the question? Why did you submit an amended plan?
I'm actually getting we fought to have more area redevelopment, but all that green will have environmental easements on it. Okay, so, well, you know what will happen, what I think will happen, and I will deny I said this outside of this room. I think we can't build a fence high enough to keep people out of that area.
So what he's referring to, there is a lot of green space, but it's vernal pool protected sensitive area.
Yes, it is.
Not usable space for the community.
I have always believed.
Okay, so can you answer the question that was asked?
Yes, I
Hang
can.
on,
Motion to strike.
hang on.
I could not build what was on the 2004 map because all that's left of developable area on this property is what we are using right now. Period. There were 14 acres there. About 7 or more have been taken for the whirlpool preserves. We tried to work with the environmental community and fund whirlpool care out in the 640 whirlpools that are in a preserve out there. Couldn't budget. So what we have left is to do what we can with what we have left, which is less than, and I'm talking about lot 2, what was lot 2?
His question is not that. His question is, why aren't you building what you already have approved, what you already went through?
Well, I'm trying to tell you that you can't build what was approved. The only place that you can build on that property,
single-family home.
you cannot build in whirlpool areas.
Don't build
You
it.
can build, you have an approved plan that you can build 51 single-family homes. Why are you not building the single-family homes?
If you looked at the layout of what homes would be on there, you couldn't, I don't think you could build that many homes there.
The city,
Okay.
the city has,
Okay, hang on, let's see, Pam has an answer.
the city approached us. So much of this was built according to the 2004 plan. Lots that we sold to KB Homes built exactly as we designed. Merge 56, footprint's the same. They did a little bit of redesign, changed the use of a tad, but essentially the same. Merge 56 sought to shrink the roadways. That was approved by the community for whatever reason, don't know. So it went from more lanes to fewer lanes. We're stuck with that now. Holland building exactly the density that was approved in our 2004 map. 347 apartments. Now the city came to us and said, this is one of the last viable, usable pieces of land.
Can you show the proofs?
Yes, I can. North of the 8, where we can put increased density. Of course that's good for us, because what does it mean for us? Money. It means taxes for the city.
She's being honest,
Okay? It means more money for us, because we can then sell it to a builder with more doors, and we get paid per door, with the understanding that along with more doors come a lot of what are called FBA fees, and they charge you per door. So you may think we're getting paid this much more for this increased density for the city request. We're not, okay? Because the fees, everything whittles away. So are we gonna make more money? Absolutely, can't deny it. But it's up to you guys to voice your concerns to the city and to say everything that's being said here. We're gonna go through iterations. We're going to listen. Does it mean we're gonna give you everything and exactly as you requested? Probably not. Are we gonna look for areas to compromise? Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's go with that for just a minute. Let me, because I would like to say, these areas are currently zoned as single-family homes. We are not gonna get them to stay single-family homes because the environment and the laws in the city right now are not gonna allow it to happen. As much as I wanna say to all of you, I wanna keep it the way it was in 2004, because they weren't built, and we're in a new time, we're not gonna get them.
So what does an approval mean then?
But, what does an approval mean?
They were approved.
They were approved, but because they're not built and he initiated a community plan amendment, he has the right to submit something else. They can deny it, but right now that amendment is going through the process and they can deny it. Just a minute, let me finish. The community, what I have heard, and we can show of hands, what the biggest concern is this large building.
Is that your biggest concern?
Raise your hand.
The goal for the planning board has been to try to limit this to 3 to 4 stories, nothing larger than that, to keep the zoning down, to not allow this large building. I don't think we're gonna get away from this other density. I don't think it's gonna happen. We are gonna push to move it down. So, I'm not,
You're taking out a park. It's not
yes, and the park is a concern.
It's very important to the community.
Yes.
To have distraction, to be able to get away from your house, and you are causing the problem by building up the high density.
Correct. There's no funds to maintain that park, which does present an issue, but we're looking for options for that as well. Yes, Matthew, you had your hand up several times.
To piggyback to the last gentleman's question, to piggyback with the last question, why you submitted with the application, forget about that. Can you provide us side-by-side comparison from 2004 plan with your amendment plan?
Yes.
And that's the first question. Second question, who are the final parties who makes the decision for this? And I have another question about
The city of San Diego's the council, the San Diego City Council makes the last decision on this. Without their approval, it doesn't happen. With their approval, it
Who are
happens.
the parties involved and have their voice heard?
Who are the parties involved?
Yeah, who have the input with the voice being heard?
Who has the input? Do you all have your?
Parties, the city makes the final plan.
Every city council member will vote. So, every planning board will submit. This has to come to the planning board, and the planning board has to approve or deny the plan. So continue to come to the planning board meetings.
And put pressure on your city council person.
Yes, so I went to one of the city council meetings, our representative was there, they voted no, and everyone else voted yes. So all of us seem to be in agreement, but we have to fight the city. So we either have to create an amendment that says if the city, if a community votes, and that council member votes, that takes the priority. Because otherwise the city's going to do this.
Well, that's not the way it is now. It's never been that way. I think you'd have a very big problem taking the power away from the city council of San Diego. So,
Do it.
well,
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, if you want, wait a minute. If you want to try that, I am not stopping. I think you should do everything you want to do. But there are 18 different departments that we have gone out to. Only a few have reviewed it and said, okay. There's months and months and months ahead of us before we iron it out and see what the city will say. Okay, we accept that. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be approved, but it means that's what would go forward to the city council, and prior to that, the planning commission.
But we know
We are way ahead of ourselves in thinking that anything has been approved now. You're doing the exact thing you should. You make your feelings, your comments, your reasons known. And that's what Mary Fox has been here tonight. She's the chair of the land use committee. This is really for the land use committee. It isn't even been to the planning board. It won't go to the planning board as the final thing that we're taking forward for months and months and months. So keep up the fight. I don't discourage you from doing what you're doing. So I'm not opposed to you doing what you're doing.
All right, so I'm going to take another 2 questions, and then I'm going to let Jeanette explain something.
Thank you, Mary, for your work. But one of the comment on this, she said, ultimately we have to compromise. And that's a given. We have to compromise. The one set over on the left makes sense with the landscape. That's next to the 5-story. The plateau, that does not make sense. That should be part of the neighborhood. And I'm hearing comments from people, well, I'm not gonna buy over there, even those homes, new homes. I would buy over there, there's no yard. I have to have a place for my kids. We want more homes for families. And this is not for families.
I agree. Okay, I'm gonna take, one more.
Thank you. So I hear you saying, keep up the fight, let your voice be heard. As we stand here today, listening to all of us speak and hear the concerns that we share, recall that you actually have the most power in this room. You can actually change your amendment. You can, take it back. You can cancel it. I don't know, but how does it feel to be hearing all of the comments that you're hearing today? And does this make you feel any differently?
I am hearing exactly what I expected to hear tonight, that people have issues. Listen, when the homes were built, or whether it be Park Village, or whether it be Via Panacea, the people who lived behind them were told by the real estate people selling it for the developer that there'd be nothing in front of them ever. And they raised stinks over the fact that single-family homes were being built in front of them. So, this is a different issue, but it's the same issue. People want what they want in front of it, and I understand that. But I have to do what's best for my situation. What the city, just a minute, what the city, you want to do what's best for your situation as you see it. I'm not gonna, there are things that I could say to you that you're saying that seem kind of not seeing the whole picture from the other side. I don't want to do that. I don't want to set up this and this and more it is.
I'd like to provide some additional information, just so that you can add to that. If there's anything we haven't touched, you let us know. That it's very helpful for you to register your comments and that we collect them and submit them as a group. Even though we all say, email your city council person, email the developer or the city representative, they get so many emails that I can tell you they don't read them all. So the whole goal of this meeting, if you really want to know, was to get you all here and to get you to stay involved and to tell us and to voice your opinion, to give us your information, so that we as a planning board can represent you. So help us in registering and help us in providing your comments, and we will do the best we can. That's all we can do. Now, we have, so thank you all for coming.
I wanted to very quickly take a moment, because the land use subcommittee, when we saw that they had been through one complete review cycle and our planning board had not reviewed it or commented on it, we became very proactive. That's what the land use subcommittee's goal is and purpose is to review our community plan and look for compliance and proposed projects with our community plan. So we spent enormous amount of hours. We probably spent close to 80+ hours as a committee going through every single sheet, every single calculation, and comparing it and judging it with our community plan, which is our document. It's the document that the city is supposed to review, as we mentioned, as well as with the municipal code and with the city's general plan. So I wanted to just very quickly, very briefly go through some of the points that we put together, a 13-page letter to the city outlining all of our concerns that we had with the proposal as it's being prepared and presented. And the applicant, Keith, has seen this letter because it's all public record, and you can go online. We will put a link to this on on our website if we can get the QR code to work, so that you can read what our comments were in great detail. But some of the things we have not touched upon tonight, which I think are still concerns that you guys might have.
I just have
And
to.
we went through each element. We have a transportation element, we have a design element, we have a housing element, we have an open space element, we have a recreation element, we have a transportation element. And each one of those elements in our community plan guides how we're supposed to be developing our community. So that's what we took the time to go through and to respond to the city on that. They're coming in with what they're asking for a planned development permit to put in the residential units that they're requesting. They're coming in with a rezone application. The rezone application is what triggers this to have to go to a city council hearing. That's one of the main reasons why it has to go to city council hearing, is that you're rezoning property and that affects the general plan designation as well. They're changing land use designations. A rezone, the environmental analysis they're going to have to go through. They are probably hoping that they would get something that would be what's called a mitigated negative declaration, which means the city feels as though the environmental document that was done on this project back in 2004 is still substantial and relative to today. They just have to make some minor mitigation measures and rely upon the original document. Our land use subcommittee feels as though cumulatively there have been enough increases in projects, not only just within the roads crossing original footprint, but north of 56, west of 56, east of 56. We've seen a lot of different changes on the east end of Rancho Penasquitos just in the last 5-6 years, over by Carmel Mountain Road and Interstate 15. So cumulatively, we're seeing much more traffic on 56 than probably what was out there in 2004 when this was done. We're seeing a lot more impacts already at the on-ramps at 56 eastbound, at the on-ramp 56 westbound, off of Camino del Sur, existing today, and we're only maybe a third completely built out of the whole roads crossing, the preserve, all the different projects that are yet to be constructed. So we feel as though there are probably enough significant impacts in water quality, air quality, resources that we think they probably will have to do some sort of an amended EIR. I think that's what's probably going to happen. So that's one of the things that we're actually asking them is to evaluate. This is cumulatively, they should probably be doing an amended environmental document, not a mitigated negative declaration. We want to talk about how one of the goals is a harmonious community appearance should be created by using compatible variety of architectural styles, colors, building heights, and lot sizes. And we felt as though one of the projects that has gone in with the Holland project, that has been built very different from what was originally approved. There was supposed to have only been 3 stories visible above grade, and now we've got 5 stories visible. They've come in with a product that doesn't adhere to our architectural guidelines, which our architectural guidelines talk about how we want our community to be more of a rancho. We're Rancho de los Peñasquitos. We are a canyon community, which is what little Peñasquitos means, is little hills and little canyons. And so our theme from our community plan is that this is supposed to be more of a rancho Spanish style, which is why most of our homes have the Spanish tile. We have the earth tone colors. We have more of a rancho feel. A lot of the products that are coming in right now are kind of switching back to a mid-century modern, reduced scale, even a mid-century modern, which it does not, the compatibility with what we believe our neighborhood is something that should be evaluated, even with some of the elevations on the project that's being proposed. And granted, the elevations that are being proposed right now by the Rhodes properties is one that allows them to get through the process. They are not the builder. They will not be building what is being shown here. That is not their goal. Their goal is to get a footprint and a density and work out traffic issues and environmental issues so that a merchant builder can come in, buy the property from Keith, and then build their product. And so things do change. No one should expect that this is exactly the product you're going to get. So I want that to be understood. We felt as though the compatibility, one of our design criteria in the community plan is compatibility with the design guidelines and with adjacent land uses. We felt as though the 7-story multifamily development is not compatible with adjacent land uses. So we went into great explanation as to why we felt that was. Sensitive resources such as biology, archaeology, we also restricted density. We know that the vernal pool, those vernal pools have been set up in an easement back in 2004 when Keith got his tentative map, his vesting tentative map approved. The easements were recorded as part of that vesting tentative map. So those easements have existed since 2004, and they are protected, and any plan that they come through, any revisions, any amendments, cannot change those lines unless they would go through a whole new remapping process, which an environmental review, which they wouldn't ever open that can of worms up, because it'd be much worse today than it was back then, as far as watershed areas and things that you have to preserve. So we wanted to make certain that the city understood too, just as Keith had said, he doubts that the vernal pools will stay pristine because he doesn't think there'll be a fence high enough to keep people out, he said tonight. I think if you had single-family homes there, the likelihood is stronger that they would be preserved versus having 7-story or 6-story or 5-story buildings. Having said that, the point that's being made by Pam, which is a very valid, and it is a true statement, is the city is looking for increased density. We see it in papers and the headlines every day. It's on every local news station. It's on our radios. It's on every talk show. We don't have enough housing. We have to produce housing. So, just a second, let me finish. So, there is a political tide and movement that we may not like it. We spent, my home is my biggest investment I've made in my life. I will never make such a big investment. I chose this neighborhood because I wanted a single family home. My husband and I have worked our butts off to have a single family home in a lovely canyon community, and we're going to retire here. We decided we're never moving. This is our home till the day we die. Having said that, there is a very strong movement right now that is anti-single family. The Planning Commission has been reviewing possibilities of outlawing single-family zoning. That's the proposal that's come forward. No more single-family zones could be, if it's a state, goes up to the state level. No more single-family zones can happen. They're coming in with all these accessory dwelling unit laws that say, we need more housing, so now you can put by right in some areas, if you're within so many feet, a mile of a transit center, you by right can come in and do accessory dwelling units up to like 8 units in the back of your house.
With no parking.
With no parking, which is one of the reasons why we don't necessarily want to say we want to have mass transit up in this area, because as soon as we start getting a mass transit up in our area, you're going to have accessory dwelling units in the back of every one of your neighbor's yard. If you get enough investors that want to see the opportunity, all along 15, all along 56, this is going to start happening. So we have to be very careful of the things that you ask for. If you say we need mass transit, just understand that that would automatically mean that every single house within Park Village, everything over via Panacea, if you've got enough room to put accessory dwelling in your backyard, someone can come in, buy your property, put up 8 units in their backyard. So, I'm kind of going off.
You are going off.
Okay, but it's all important stuff. Community appearance and design, the compatibility with bulk, height, and scale. We went into great detail about how we felt that that's something that needed to be addressed. Even though we understand they want density, 7 stories we feel is excessive. We have to come to a negotiation. No one wants to hear that. I didn't want to hear it. But the more time that you spend, you realize the city will not, if they came to the applicant and said, we want to put density here, they're not going to listen to anyone coming down and go, we want our 35 single family homes. They're just going to go, no. We're going through, Mira Mesa just had 50,000 units added to their new community plan. When the city did a community plan update, they came in and added 50,000 dwelling units to Mira Mesa. We're going to be doing an update in the coming years, and they're going to be asking for a very high density here too. So we have to be realist, which is why, as the land use subcommittee, as much as we don't wanna compromise, as much as I wanna say, I want that single family behind me always, I would rather see a 3-story building than a 7-story building. I would rather see some more articulation than having just a wall of buildings. There's room to negotiate. Keith's not ready to negotiate at this point in time, but at some point maybe he will be, and I hope that he will be, because this is our community. This is where we live. This is our home. We have had so many changes over the years through your property, where you have gotten changes year after year after year. And you have been very successful in your development and selling to builders, and we're gonna have some interesting things and hopefully some very good things for the community.
Are you having?
No.
Okay. Couple more.
You know what,
Stop now.
maybe what I should do is just say, please take a moment and look up this document, because a lot of time went into it. We have the best interest of our community at the core of who we are on the land use subcommittee and on our planning board. Our goal is to represent you. Let your representative on the planning board know how you feel. There's a map that shows what the district is, who your representative is. Reach out to that person, let them know, because they're gonna be voting, representing you when the time comes, when this project comes
I
forward.
just want to add, I think it'd be even better for you to get a hold of your city council person. How many of you were here in the 1990s when they wanted to build a bridge across our damn canyon?
Yes.
And what did we do? We showed up at the city council meeting, and guess what? They were blown away by how many people were there, and it didn't get done.
We're hoping to stop it before it goes to the city council. So that's why you're here now, and that's why I need you to stay involved and stay alert that we are going to continue to work on this.
I appreciate what the planning commission's doing here, but I'll tell you what, the decisions being made by the city council, I think we need to start making noise now. And especially Todd Torrey too, he needs to feel the heat. We know where he's at on this issue, and he wants greater density. That destroys quality. I mean, where do you stop? Greater density means more money for the developers, and it means less quality of life for us.
Right.
I mean,
And
we're
this
gonna ruin San
this
Diego, we're gonna be
community-
like Los Angeles.
And any of you who do voice your concerns, this community has accepted a lot of density increase. You look at what we've accepted, it's not that we're against density, so we're asking it to be reasonable.
I'm against it.
Actually, I agree with your point. 2004, we already made lots of compromise, right? Now we need to make another compromise.
Quality of life.
We would like the builder to compromise, yes, the developer to compromise. And we would like,
we made lots of compromise to get that.
we would like the.
We added lots of,
Yeah. So are there any other concerns,
Carolyn? I'm one of the people that helped get all of the information up on the 92129 News website, and thanks for other help. So you can go to 92129news.com. There's information where you can put in your concerns, you can put in your questions. I do want to say I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here, Pam. I appreciate you listening and hearing the dialogue, and I want to keep the dialogue open. And I think the reason the community is so engaged right now, even though it is very early in the process, is because we're hoping to get, we don't want it to get so far down that the changes that could be made we're past that point. So I appreciate you hearing us. I appreciate you coming, because I know you did not have to. But go to the website, put in your concerns, put in if you want to help out, and we will contact you and let you know what we need help with.
Let me say one last thing. Thank you. I am so impressed the way all of you conducted yourself so that comments can be made, individuals can be heard. So when you go home tonight, I can tell you that you may be the most courteous group, yet stringent in your move forward that I've ever seen in this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. Stay involved, please.
The QR code is working. So if you want to
Okay.
scan it.
Christian, where are you? So, if you don't have the QR code,
Thanks for being
not
here.
need the QR code.
The only one doesn't obscure you.
You know what?